What's up, everybody? Today's the day for Season 4 of Modern Warfare 3 Warzone. Of course, the patch notes came out this morning. I'm not going to go over the Modern Warfare 2 patch notes as usual, but I'll link those down below if you're interested in that. Of course, I'm just going to cover the Warzone patch notes. A couple notes before we get started. If I sound funny or you can hear a cough drop or I cough some, sorry, woke up pretty sick this morning, but content goes on, gaming goes on, so we go on. And also, this will be linked down below with the Modern Warfare 2 patch notes, as well as the roadmap and the roadmap video that I put out. And my Twitch is also linked down below. I'm planning on being live this afternoon or tonight, playing the brand new update, Fighting Through the Sickness. But without further ado, let's run through these patch notes. We got the roadmap stuff, got Battle Pass, performance address various issues causing improper first-person animations. That's good. Some customization stuff that we are gonna skip through. Like I said, if you want to read this stuff for yourself, feel free. They did announce yesterday that Battle Royale player count is now up to 120 instead of 100 on Urzikstan. I'm not going to read through all this, but essentially player feedback, less chances to respawn, they're going to monitor stuff, blah, blah, blah. Typical stuff coming from Raven and Call of Duty in general. Urzikstan would get the bunkers. Unlocked bunkers now have an escape hatch as an alternative exit, and new rewards have been added to various locations. They teased in the roadmap that there would be a secondary door within bunkers that you can open. Gulag has four new layouts for the middle of the Gulag and the surrounding areas to mix up the Gulag some. That was covered in the roadmap as well. Battle Royale buyback solos is returning. I'm hoping they end up doing it with other player sizes, but if you have at least $4,500 when you're eliminated, you get redeployed. So there's no Gulag. You get unlimited life as long as you have enough cash until it closes at the same time that the Gulag would close, so it's the end of fourth circle. Here's the playlist for the week. Buyback Royale is only solos, ranked plays, rebirth trios, plunder quads, battle royale duos, trios, quads, and resurgence solos, duos, trios, quads map rotation. They have new rewards for Warzone rewards. You can see the categories here: economics, contracts, social, and mode. It's hard to read these from here. If you want, you can go in and zoom in. I'll zoom in a little bit. It looks like it says loot supply crates, loot legendary supply crates, spend cash in Battle Royale, Resurgence, stations in single Battle Royale or Resurgence. Complete contracts, complete scavenger, intel, signal intelligence, or spy drone contracts, complete bounty, big game bounty, or most wanted contracts, complete 3 unique contracts in a single Battle Royale or Resurgence map. Social, live ping enemy operators, deploy armor, ammo, or utility boxes, revive or buy back players, interrogate enemy operators in Battle Royale or plunder. Mode, complete games. 5. Deposit 500,000 in single plunder match. Reduce respawn time in Resurgence, and reach top 10 without entering the Gulag in a single Battle Royale match. So it looks like the last ones are all camos, and then we have like calling cards and emblems, I think. Maybe some stickers. We'll have to see what those end up being. It doesn't tell you anything other than what I just read. And then Champions Quest is a Champions Quest active in your game. Then check these challenges out. Gameplay, all modes, all maps, all modes. Champion Quest contract stealing is finally live. This was supposed to be like season 2.5 or season 3. I think it was season 2.5. It says when a team on Champions Quest contract is fully eliminated, the Champions Quest tablet will drop, and the first team that interacts with the tablet can now steal the contract and continue the quest. I'm assuming it can only be stolen once in a map based off of that wording. Urzikstan, all modes. Tac sprint boots can be found in bunkers, just one bunker per game. It looks like it gives you unlimited, increase to base speed and unlimited tac sprint. And it does not reduce fall damage like it originally said in the roadmap. Specialist perk is coming to Big Map. It's available in the buy station for $30,000, but that gives you every single perk. If it's like Rebirth, which it doesn't say here, if it's like on Rebirth Island, then it will drop also when players have it and they die. Bunker Buster is coming. That was from Fortune's Keep. It's the giant bomb that drops on buildings, penetrates the buildings, leaves a gas column. Utility Box is the ammo and armor box. It's on Rebirth Island. That's coming to Urzikstan. Loot Hot Zones will be designated points of interest on the map, identified as Loot Hot Zones. They don't appear on the TAC map. Rather, they must be discovered. That's interesting. Because I think they did this in Warzone 1 and it was on the TAC map. I think it would be better to show it because then a lot of people land there. So if you want a hot drop, you know it's going to be a hot drop and you can land hot. I don't like that it must be discovered. I think they'll end up changing that one day. Runaway Train. Each Battle Royale match will have a 10% chance of ending in a Runaway Train public event. So that means instead of gas shifting and closing, it will continue to move around with the train. You can stop the train moving, but it'll be surrounding the train until last team survives. If you played the sleigh ride mode around Christmas, it's that ending. Then we have the Polaris RZR, a real side-by-side UTV that's going to be on the is going to be added to Urzikstan. Now we have two real-life vehicles, the Hummer and the Polaris RZR. All maps, the ground loot weapons, no weapon went unturned in this season's ground loot weapon update, which is good. The ground loot was terrible in Season 3. Players will find updated ground loot builds across every weapon class. Gas mask quality of life. Gas mask now has a manual, automatic, and semi-automatic setting. A new keybind has been added to allow for manual behavior. They're so close to giving us what we want. I appreciate them continuing to update gas mask functions, but we just want it to just appear and disappear. Whether that gives us the look of having a gas mask on or not, but we just want it to automatically work without animation, without having to toggle it ourselves. We just want it on and off without interrupting anything. Buy station, improvement quality of life. Purchase weapons will now drop behind the player to make them easier to distinguish from nearby loot. In Urzikstan Battle Royale, the initial circle shrink, the time for it to shrink has now been increased to 2 minutes, up from 1. The redeployment weapons, players will now respawn from Gulag with updated primary and secondary weapons, which leads us into Gulag loadouts, where they updated some primary and secondary Gulag loadouts. They adjusted weapon loadouts in Locked and Loaded and Climb and Punishment, and C4 thankfully has been removed from Gulags. I personally think all lethal and tactical should be removed from Gulag. I'd be fine if it was just the starter pistol one-on-one, or even fist. But I think this is a good step in the right direction, moving C4s, because they're the most frustrating of all of the throwables. Loot updates. Loot has received a general balance pass. Many items had their rarity adjusted, making some items more common in ground loot, while other items are exclusively rare in chests. The overall acquisition rate of cash via ground loot and supply box has been reduced by 50%. The density of ground loot has been reduced by 15%. So a lot less cash and a little bit less loot. I'm not really a fan of either of those changes, but I know what they're doing with this less cash, which we're going to talk about other stuff that also affects. But they're just going back to the old days of less respawn chances, which for BR I'm personally a fan of. Makes you be a little more careful, makes the game feel more like a BR and less like Big Map Resurgence. Supply boxes, overall frequency increased by 20%. Frequency of basic rarity has been reduced by 9%. Frequency of legendary rarity has been increased by 5%. Frequency of reusable rarity has been increased by 4%. Gulag token, very low chance in general loot. Guaranteed for most wanted. Limited inventory at buy station. The redeploy pack now does not spawn in general loot at all, and you can only get it as a low chance reward for most wanted. Redeploy flares are low chances in legendary chests, and a lower chance where support items can spawn, such as medical cabinets. The following items are now exclusive to certain locations. Durable gas mask is only in bunker chests and intel contracts. I don't like that. Let people have their durable. Redeployed pack is now only in the black site and in most wanted contracts, which, as we saw up here, is a low chance for most wanted rewards. Foresight is now being added to Big Map, and that's going to only be in bunker chests. And Specialist perk pack will only be in buy stations. There's a buy station inventory update. Nothing really too much to talk about here. The big one is that utility box is now in there for 3,000 with a limit of 2, while you still have ammo and armor boxes completely unlimited. Everything else is pretty much the same, except now they also have Mosquito Drones, $4,000 for 2. Bunker Buster, $4,000, and it has 2. Gulag Token, $4,000, it has 2. And Specialist for $30,000, just 1 in each buy. So you can only get Specialist with 30 grand. Rebirth Island and Resurgence late game circles may now end on a wider variety of locations than before. That's good. I don't think I've ever seen a stronghold location in Warzone 2 with Rebirth Island. The new weapons, we have the Superior 46 submachine gun. The pistol caliber chambered in 4.6 by 30 millimeters is designed to give impressive stopping power with a skeletonized lightweight frame. Exceptionally adaptable, this weapon can be modified to excel at most combat scenarios. Car 98K marksman rifle is returning. This modernized version of a World War II bolt action rifle is powerful and accurate. High damage output with a slow rate of fire. Being a marksman rifle, like I said before on stream and both in my roadmap videos, it being a marksman rifle means it's probably not going to one-shot headshot. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully it one-shots at least within, like 50 meters even. But I don't think that's going to be the case, unfortunately. And its slow rate of fire is still faster than like the bolt action sniper. The new aftermarket part kits. The Jack Harbinger kit is for the M4. It's a 50 cal conversion for the M4. Slow fire rate, drop in bullet velocity, but a significant increase in recoil. And then obviously much more damage. The Jack Gunslinger for the Basilisk is a frame and cylinder conversion that allows revolver to hold 8 rounds of .357 ammunition with an exceptional increase to rate of fire and a near instantaneous trigger action. Jack Volk H compatibility, KV inhibitor sniper rifle, meticulously crafted stock and receiver modification that updates the weapon to fire a 2-round burst and a minimal MOA dispersion, making every trigger pull count. Jack's Scimitar kit for the FJX Horus. Improved range and recoil are standard with this aftermarket kit, which also unlocks the use of high-capacity drum for the FJX Horus. This is the one I'm most excited about, especially because that gun, which we'll talk about in a second, got a pretty big buff. Jack Thumper 656 for the RGL-80 launcher. Gives an improved long barrel for infantry-carried grenade launcher. Fires projectiles at higher velocities and distances, compatible with a wider variety of launcher projectiles. For all the troll content creators, this will probably be something fun for them. Jack Requiem for the Cast-Off 762, a counterbalance rifle system designed to completely eliminate vertical recoil. So you put that on, and then you just do horizontal recoil attachments, and it should be 0 recoil. We'll see what it does damage-wise whenever we get it. The Jack Decimator for the Lockman Shroud allows it to be in full auto. If they don't nerf it by the time that's released, that will be a meta SMG. I'll link the video down below talking about it that I put out about a month and a half ago, something like that, about how good it actually is if you can use the burst. If it's fully auto, it'll be gross. Jack Intimidator for the Renetti slows your fire rate to a single shot, but it does more damage. It doesn't say that, but like, why else would you use the one bullet, of course. BP50 got a lot of changes here. The movement speed, sprint speed, and tac sprint speed of the base gun have all been nerfed. On the Revenger kit that makes it an SMG, the movement speed, crouch movement speed, sprint speed, tactical sprint speed, and ADS movement speed have all also been nerfed. The BAO 27, the AR from the mid-season update last season, got its near mid-damage range and its mid-damage range increased. The lower arm and hand modifiers were increased as well. I don't think this thing will still even come close to sniffing the meta. The Ogre 556 got its near mid-damage range and leg modifiers increased. The SVA got a mid-damage decrease, so that's between your first and your third drop-off, and a headshot modifier decrease. The MCW got a minimum damage decrease, so that's your long range. That's after your final drop-off. They're really trying to get this thing in the meta. It's so close. Maybe this will be the nudge it needs. The MTZ 556 got its max damage range, so that's your up-close damage, your near-mid damage range, and its headshot modifier all increased. The MTZ 556 was already meta. This might become the meta AR here. We'll have to wait and see once we're in game. The Cast-Off 762 got its mid-damage increase, its arm and hand modifiers, its lower torso modifiers, and its leg modifiers increased. So that's not... so it was arm and hand, legs, and stomach. It's not chest, neck, head. But this thing was already pretty decent. It's getting that aftermarket part kit. It got its mid-damage range increase. This thing could at least be a resurgence meta right here. Chimera got its near mid damage, its arm modifier, and its lower torso modifier increased. It could be more of a viable sniper support now, but I don't think so. ISO Hemlock got its mid damage, its minimum damage, and its arm modifier all increased. This thing might sniff barely viable now, but it's still not going to be anything worth using unless you've never played Modern Warfare 3 or Warzone 3 and you have no other guns leveled up. The AMR-9 got its max damage range increased, but its max damage increased, but its max damage range decreased by a lot. It was 17.78 meters. Now it's down to 10.66 before your first drop off. The near mid damage increased to 27, and a new damage range added. The mid damage set to 25, but and the mid damage range is now 34.29 meters. So they introduced another drop off to adjust for them nerfing the maximum damage range. The FJX Horus, which I mentioned, got some big changes. This thing could be in the meta now. We have max damage range increased, near mid damage increase, mid damage increase, minimum damage increase. So the damage has been increased in all damage ranges. The max damage range is now increased to 10.16 meters. That's what really held it back from being meta. So I expect to be using this later. The headshot modifier was decreased because that's where it was really strong. If you go back and watch my video from before, that's what I focused on. If you do not hit headshots, the gun is not worth using. But now that's not as true, especially with the arm and hand modifiers being increased. The lower torso, so stomach modifier being increased. The leg modifier was also increased. They decreased recoil gun kick. The no stock mod is now increased ADS movement speed, and the Lopper LXD stock added 3% ADS movement speed penalty, so that's a bit of a nerf. We have all damage ranges being buffed. We have arm and hand, stomach, and leg modifiers being buffed. We have the max damage range being increased. I'm definitely going to be trying the FJX Horus when I drop in tonight. Rival 9 increased bullet velocity, and the Jag Headhunter Carbine Kit increased rate of fire. Another reason why I'll be excited to try the FJX Horse tonight are these next two nerfs. The best SMGs at the end of Season 3, the Striker 9 got its minimum damage decreased, its max damage range decreased, its headshot modifier decreased. Now this thing still, chest and head didn't get touched, maximum damage didn't get touched, neck didn't get touched, only the head did, but everything below the head did not get touched. And the minimum damage, who cares? You're not really using this as an AR. So this thing could still be in the meta, but it is getting a nerf, as well as the WSP-9, which was the second best SMG at the end of Season 3. Max damage range decreased, near mid damage range decreased, mid damage range decreased, and lower arm and hand modifiers decreased as well. The two best SMGs caught nerfs, and the FJX Horse, which wasn't far behind them if you get at headshots, actually passed them, got a buff. Definitely going to be trying out the FJX Horse tonight on stream, as well as the Striker 9, the WSP-9, and maybe the regular Striker. I think the FJX Horse or the regular Striker will end up taking over the meta for the most part. LMGs, the DG58 got a headshot modifier nerf, as well as a bullet velocity nerf. Now, my baby, if you've ever watched me on stream, you know I have been a proponent of the Holger 26 the entire time, and that got a headshot modifier increase. Holger 26, in my opinion, is the best long-range option, especially now with the DG being nerfed. Unless one of those AR buffs take its place, I think the Holger 26 is like definitely the best long-range option if you don't want to snipe. And speaking of snipers, the XRK Stalker neck modifier is decreased to 1.2 down from 2. That's a very significant nerf, although I don't think people are using the Stalker very much. I think it's either the Moors or the Cat. That's pretty much what I've gone to. Although I still really do like the Stalker because it's got better bullet velocity than the Moors without the charge barrel. But whatever. Warzone ranked play. Long paragraph essentially saying that they aren't comfortable with where they would have ranked BR yet. They were targeting it before the end of the year, but they're not ready to commit to specific timing. That means we may not even get ranked BR when we get the new map, which is probably going to be Verdansk, until next year. Looking like it might not even be till the end of the year, which is very disappointing. And then they go on to talk about we're going to do a robust competitive scene with the ongoing World Series of Warzone, which 99.99999% of players aren't even good enough to qualify for, let alone have a chance to succeed if they got lucky enough to qualify. Just unfortunate that we're not going to get big map ranked. We're going to skip Resurgence ranked. Nothing really changes. The rewards change. Placement challenges. Rewards change. But nothing really anything different. And then more adjustments to it. UI, UX changes, and that's really the last thing we're going to talk about. Match stats. The new statistics panel for multiplayer has been adapted to Warzone, allowing players to consult their match and weapon statistics during a match. Match stats are also viewable in the after-action report. Third-person parachute quality of life added a new setting that allows players to see their operator parachuting from a third-person perspective. Before, you had to hold down a button. I don't know if you're going to be able to toggle it or if that's just how it's going to be. I like this change as long as it's done well. Squad widget info. Icons for armor plates, and gas masks, and kill streaks will now appear under squad member health bars to indicate what they currently have in their inventory. You remember at the end of Warzone 1 in Caldera, we actually had this, and this was a very welcomed change by the whole Warzone community. I'm excited for this change. Contract timer. The contract widget will now display a visual timer indicating the remaining time on the contract. Don't really need that. Numbers do it for me, but it's nothing that's going to take away from the game, so it's a good addition in my mind. I don't think there was any bug fixes to really worry about too much. I'm scrolling through them quickly, but I'm not seeing anything that was super important. I scrolled through them quickly before and I didn't see anything. Yeah, it looks like there's nothing too important with that other than fix several occlusion issues allowing players to exploit the map. But that is the patch notes. I'm excited for the car if I'm in multiplayer, but probably not really in Warzone. I'm excited to try the new SMG. I'm excited for some of the weapon changes they brought, including the FJX Horse getting a buff. I'm excited for all the big map changes. Super brokenhearted about no big map ranked potentially until 2025. Those are my quick thoughts on the patch notes and my thoughts on a whole as I went through them. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And while you're scrolling down, don't forget to like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know if I put up a video talking about the car, the new SMG, what the new meta is, etc. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you can see that before anybody else. And like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, these patch notes will be linked down below. Modern Warfare, not Modern Warfare 2, wow. Patch notes from the roadmap will be linked down below. Video for the roadmap will be linked down below, as well as my Twitch, which I'll be live this afternoon or tonight, and my other social medias if you feel so inclined to follow me there. Follow me there, comment, like stuff. Always makes my day when I get interactions on any of my platforms. But I will see you on Urzikstan, Bondel, Rebirth Island, and Fortune's Keep. No more Sheikah, RIP. Get frying. Have a good day.